The traditional medical community was rivaled only by his respect for the then drugless practice of osteopathic medicine. McFadden is shown here demonstrating osteopathic treatment for the article Osteopathy's Triumph Half-Century. Then there were photos of the master himself. This one showing one of McFadden before and after a 15-day fast, and telling how I kept fit at 58. Two of McFadden's most passionate causes were the elimination of the use of domestic pets and animals in medical experiments and the elimination of harmful chemicals used in farming. There are always articles directed at the family, such as How I Brought Up My Daughter in the Physical Culture Life and Physical Culture Hunches for School Time Lunches. Put wholesome food in the youngster's bag and the dunce cap will stay on the shelf. And warning about the dangers of the sedentary lifestyle in White-collar jobs are dangerous. This photo was taken on a summer day in front of the Physical Culture Hotel. There are few today who can offer a first-hand account of these times. An exception to this is Dansville resident Joe Elliott, who was activities director at the hotel.
Don't take this yet. When I first came here, I thought maybe he was a little bit different. But this boy came in with a wheelchair with his mother, and the doctor said he would never walk again because he had polio. But when he got through the 6 months up there, he was taking dance lessons from me.
Oh my God.
And I couldn't believe it because I gave him my time free because his mother couldn't afford. See, Brian McFadden would subsidize at times when people couldn't afford staying up there. They let him come up for free.
Oh,
And this happened to be a free case because the parents couldn't afford him. But after what I saw then, I said, this fellow has something. Yes, the doctors made a bad point about, they did it purposely, I think, because they were jealous of him and he was so far ahead of them medically that they tried to call him a gook. But when I saw what this boy, just that one, there were a lot of others had arthritis and they walked out of here, people with high blood pressure. My God, they walked out here as healthy could be. When the place closed down, the whole Dansville pooped out.
Although he was obliged to travel to some of his other properties, engaging in activities such as leading physical culturists on hikes along the beach in Florida, McFadden poured money into his Dansville facility, making it one of the finest health hotels in the nation. Internationally known writer, lecturer, and broadcaster Lowell Thomas singled out the hotel in his article Adventures in Health Hunting. The main dining room in the hotel matched that of any exclusive club in Manhattan, and securing a room reservation or a spot in the many exercise classes was often difficult. McFadden constantly traveled throughout the nation in his evangelical crusade to convert the American population to a physical culture lifestyle. Upon request from the White House Conference on Child Health, he traveled to Europe to appraise the laws and practices of European nations regarding care and protection of children. On September 4, 1931, McFadden again made headlines when it was announced in the New York Times that he had established a foundation with a personal donation of more than $5 million. As part of his official statement, McFadden said, "It is for the things which I have labored may be carried on, and the benefits of the physical culture life that I have lived and taught may be spread around the world." His first mission as head of his foundation was to increase the number of penny restaurants he started to help relieve hunger of those unemployed and left homeless by the Great Depression. These restaurants provided a wholesome, healthy meal for as little as 3 cents. The doors were open to all the downtrodden. Bernard McFadden was intent on demonstrating to the world the power of physical culture, and no doubt, remembering his bleak childhood as an orphan, purchased a former country club in Hackensack, New Jersey. There he successfully opened a refuge for malnourished and orphan boys, providing them 3 well-balanced meals, outdoor exercise, and a daily dose of optimism for their future. Another movement in 1934, supported by the foundation, was the McFadden Legion Youth Movement in the state of Alabama, which utilized unused aviation landing strips and converted them to physical culture education centers. In 1935, 14,000 boys and girls were provided education in healthy living and academic studies. McFadden received an award from the National American Legion for his financial and administrative support. During this time of great activity, McFadden consistently returned to the energy and tranquility offered at his Physical Culture Hotel and the rolling hills of Dansville. The hotel was bustling at the seams with visitors eager to touch the hem of the wellness guru. The hotel also served as a family meeting spot for Bernard, his 4 daughters, and 2 sons. In the late 30s, as the ominous clouds of war could be seen in Europe, McFadden's presence on the national and world stage was about to evaporate. Foundation funds dwindled and financial losses began to mount, but the indomitable McFadden spirit was not deterred, and in his advancing years, his articles in physical culture magazines bore headlines such as "How to be healthy and happy at 100," "Millions are dying prematurely," and "Old age is a myth." Once again, he would prove to the world that thanks to physical culture, he was older, but he was not old, and he would prove this by making his first parachute jump at the age of 80. His parachute jumps thrust him back into the national spotlight, but the news coverage often characterized him as an amusing, eccentric health nut. McFadden was steadfast in his position that the physical culture lifestyle offered mankind the key to avoiding and even curing chronic disease. He continued to assert that arthritis was curable and pointed to his 80-year-old body as living proof. But he no longer had the power, the money, or the influence to fight the medical lobbyists in Washington. When McFadden was 83, a ruling from the U.S. Post Office denied McFadden the right to send literature claiming to cure disease through the U.S. mail. In defense of this ruling, he used the famous painting, The Stag at Bay, as an analogy for his position. The hounds of orthodox medicine have encircled the aging stag of natural health, ready to destroy him after a lifetime of noble service to the physical welfare of America. McFadden received many letters of support, such as this from a leader in the Salvation Army. One of the more noteworthy letters was received from Orrin E. Madison, a Ph.D. and associate professor of chemistry at Wayne State University. Madison was also president of the Michigan-based Science Board. His letter of support concluded with this statement, quote, "I honestly believe from my own experience and what I have seen in others who have followed your teachings that you have done more for suffering humanity than all the drugs and serums ever manufactured and used. I heartily recommend your teachings to anyone who wants to live well and long. Sincerely yours, Orrin E. Madison, Associate Professor of Chemistry at Wayne University and President of the Michigan Basic Science Board," end quote. Other support came in the form of an honorary life membership from the National